All right, today's topic for Tuesday training could be a controversial one. We're going to be talking about why you shouldn't post your personal website in your posts or in your profile on social media. And what do I mean by your personal website? I mean like your company website slash blah, 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 like marykay.com slash Brit Ash. That's mine. Okay. So I know a lot of people, we think like, why wouldn't I want to post my website? Don't I want people to order from me on my website? And many times we'll post something, we'll say, click here to learn more. Or on our bio, we've got that website link, and we might do be tempted to put our personal website as that link. And the company tells us to when we are setting up our accounts. But I'm going to advise you not to. And today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 reasons why you might decide not to share that. So let's dive into here where I'm going to share with you 5 reasons not to post your company's personal website in your posts and in your profile. So number 1, it's too overwhelming. Okay. When we go to our websites, there are a lot of options. We have hundreds of product options on there. And we know a confused mind does nothing, right? So very often when they click on your website, they get so many options presented to them that they don't know where to start and they just leave. And we've seen that a lot, right? We see that that's why we don't hand out a lookbook at a skincare class, right? Because we know if we hand them that lookbook, there's just way too many options for them to have to flip through, and they're not going to pay attention to you. They're going to be overwhelmed, and they might just order like an eyeliner from you because there's just too many decisions for them to have to make. So our websites, while they are awesome and they are amazing, I'm going to show you where you're going to show them, okay? But in your post, in your first meeting with somebody, or having that as your website link in your profile can very often be too overwhelming for potential leads for your business. Okay. Reason number 2, it doesn't send them through your booking process. So what you want to be doing here, think about this, like your social media should be like a vendor booth, not like an open house. Many of you have heard me say that before. It should be like a vendor booth, not an open house. And when you think about vendor booths, for example, if you went to like say a bridal event and you rented out a booth there, and you set up your booth and maybe you had a drawing for people to enter. The goal of these things are to generate leads, not to sell products. We typically don't do a cash and carry like they do at like an art fair where they can buy your products on the spot. We do that at an open house with our current customers. But at something like a vendor event, we're there to get leads. And very often they come there, they're attracted to their booth, and they tell us they're interested, and then we book them later. We've always learned that the best process for a business is book, coach, sell, recruit, not hand them a catalog to just purchase from you right off the bat. So, and we know that we best serve our customers when we take them through a process, when we educate them, when we give them value, and we do that through a skincare class or meeting with us one-on-one. We work so much better when we're not just order takers and having people fill out order forms, when rather we give our customers an experience. And that's really what sets us apart and makes us special. So when we take them through that booking process, number 1, it is the solution to that first one, which is that overwhelm. When you take them through a booking process, you're showing them this is the first step. And then at that booking, you're not going to share all the products. You're going to be selling sets at that booking. So that's why it's really important that you take them through a process, a customer journey. And a lot of you, that's why you're not getting bookings. That's why you're not getting bookings online. It's because you're just selling your products online and they don't have a reason to book with you. So when you have that, your personal website just as the only means of taking a next step with you, you bypass that booking process. Reason number 3 is no follow-up. Here's one thing that is difficult about our websites, okay? When people visit our website, it doesn't capture their contact information. They just go on there and they can shop, and we don't even know that they went on there, and then they can leave. And you have no way of knowing that they visited your site, and you have no way to follow up with them and to have a conversation with them, because as we know, the fortune is in the follow-up. So if they just go and they visit your website right off the bat, you don't know that they visited and you don't have a means to follow up with them. Whereas what you want to have, if you do offer some sort of a website, you want what's called a lead capture, and you want to get their information in exchange for you giving them information, you giving them value. We call that a lead magnet. It's a whole nother training, but you want a place where they can input their information so you know they took that first step with you, so that way you can follow up with them and then therefore close them later on the one-on-one. Next reason, there's no gatekeeper. And this one is huge. There's no gatekeeper. We know that before we work with anybody, we need to ask them the question, do you have a beauty consultant? So I recommend having a gatekeeper, and the gatekeeper is that question. They shouldn't be able to purchase from you. They shouldn't be able to get in your customer Facebook group. They shouldn't be able to come to a booking with you, a virtual event, any of that without first answering the question, do you already have a beauty consultant? And the thing is, when they go onto your website, there isn't that question. And there's no way for them to be able, at least at the time, right now, there's no way for the company to block them from ordering on another consultant site. So we have to do the work of making sure they don't already have a consultant before they can purchase with us, because we want to be honoring the golden rule there. And so that's why just having your website public for anybody to click on, it bypasses that golden rule and they bypass that gatekeeper. So it's really important that you're asking every person before they purchase from you whether or not they have a beauty consultant. So we need to have those systems in place, and we don't have that on our website right now. All right, the next one is, where are they? You could send someone to your website and it might be a total waste if they're not in the country you serve. So many of us, we only have limited countries where we can serve our people. If you aren't a sales director, you can only serve the customers in the country that you live in. If you are a sales director, there's a whole process for you expanding to other countries. So on the internet, we're not working with your local community. We're not working with people that you know personally and that you know are local. And anybody can come to your website, place an order. And if you don't even have, if maybe you don't have easy ship or guest checkout set up, and they can just fill out an order and you've got to serve them, they could be people from other countries who are visiting on your site. And it's a waste of time for all of you, because you bypassed that conversation. You haven't found out where they're from. And then you could be getting orders from people all over the world, which is cool, but unfortunately, we can't function that way, right? We're not allowed to do that. So you've got to be really careful that you're just not making your website public to everybody to be able to order from, because it's just not, available to everybody in every country, because we're working on the internet, right? So what should you do instead? So I've got some tips for you here. So first of all is you always want to be having conversations with people in the DMs or via personal message. And that's how you're going to be able to build that relationship with them anyway, right? You want to have a conversation with them where you can ask them, do you have a beauty consultant? Do you live in, I live in the US, so I would ask people, do you live in the United States, or what country are you in? To check that stuff first. But you're also in the DMs going to build that relationship. You're going to find out what they need. You're going to find out what they're struggling with, what they're interested in. And then you can point them to the right resources. Maybe it's a virtual skincare class. Maybe it's a beauty assessment quiz. Maybe it's your Facebook group. But you need to be focusing on having those conversations in the DMs. And once you've got them in the DMs, you can definitely follow up with them. You could also, so what should you post as a link in your profile? So I recommend doing a Google form for a beauty assessment or a beauty quiz. And that's great. On those forms, you can ask, do you have a beauty consultant? You can ask what country they live in. And you can ask the things. So just go through, let me see if I've got one here. Go through the customer profile. I should have had one out. Your customer profile. I don't even know. Do we have paper? I don't think I've got one here. All right. But the customer profile questions, ask them, what's your skin type? What is your biggest need for your skin? What's your eye color? If you're doing makeup, ask them questions about themselves, what they're interested in. Have them fill out that quiz on a Google form. It's free. Go Google Forms. All right, fill out a form, and then you share that with them and put that as the link in your profile. So then they fill that out, and guess what? You've got their contact info. Make sure you ask for their contact info, like their email, their Instagram handle, their phone number on there, so that way you can get back in touch with them and give them product recommendations, or recommend they come to your next skincare class, or recommend they join your Facebook group. So that's a great thing, using a beauty quiz there or a beauty assessment. You could also have your Facebook group as your link there. Just make sure in your Facebook group, you've got questions set up to be able to join your Facebook group, that they first have to answer those gatekeeper questions, right? Where do you live? Do you have a beauty consultant, right? So before they join your Facebook group, you want to make sure you are asking those gatekeeper questions before you accept anybody into your Facebook group. Or you could also provide a link to a virtual event. Now, what would that link be? Well, on Zoom, if you are hosting your events via Zoom, you can actually create a registration link if you have a pro account with Zoom or working live through Mary Kay in Touch. But you can actually create a registration link where they can just register for your next skincare class, and you can put that as your link on there. So that's what I recommend you have instead, rather than your personal website. That way it gives them a first step. So you want to make sure whatever you have as your website, that it gives one first step to take with you. It asks a gatekeeper question. So it asks whether or not they have a beauty consultant and what country they live in, and it gets their contact information so you can follow up with them. Those are the 3 requirements for whatever link you have on your profile. I'm going to say that again. 1, that it's one step. It's a first step with you versus a whole catalog of products. 2, it asks the gatekeeper questions. Do they have a consultant? What country do they live in? And 3, it gets their contact information, at least an email address. But I recommend getting their Instagram handle and their phone number, so that way you can follow up with them, because that is key. You've got to be able to get in touch with them after they've taken that first step with you. And then what are you going to post in your post? So your post should always be, we've talked about it on a previous post, the call to action though. If you want them to take action on a post, it should be DM me for more info about this product. It could be comment, tell me more below, and I'll send you a message. So you could also ask for a keyword, DM me charcoal to learn more about our charcoal mask. And then you can have a conversation with the DMs. So the conversation should happen in the DMs. And you can send your personal website in the DMs after you've asked those gatekeeper questions. And then you can follow up with them. So the DMs are a great strategy for you there. So that's where you present your personal website. You can also present your personal website in your Facebook groups, because those people have already passed the gatekeeper questions. You've gotten their contact information, and they've taken a first step with you. So, and sharing your personal website after your skincare class, that's a great resource there. But on your public posts and your public profile, you need to have something that has a first step, a gatekeeper, and gets their contact information. So hopefully this was helpful to you. If you want more help with this stuff and how to set up your personal website, I highly recommend that you check out our other courses that we have available to you. We help you to set all of that stuff up. So definitely, if you haven't taken that mini course yet, we talk you through how to set up your Instagram account to be a lead generation machine. We also have a course called Intro to Instagram that will really set up your Instagram account. There's a free version of that will just set things up for you. And then those of you who are part of the Academy in the Insta Starter Kit, we also help you to really streamline your bio and your profile there too. Oh, and don't forget, we also have our content library that also gives call to actions to make sure that you are asking for the right questions in your post rather than posting your website link. So hopefully this was helpful to you. Please ask your questions in the comments. And that's it, what I have for you for this edition of Tuesday Training. I will see you next